Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Rohit and this is the JavaScript class. In this class, we'll talk about the loop, why we need the loop and how we can run the for loop. We can run the for in loop and for out loop. All this about loop we will talk about one by one. And this is the very basic class. We are talking about basic JavaScript class. So without wasting time, let's get started. So if you see the documentation here, what is the loops? Loops can be execute a block of code number of times. So let's say that for example, that if I want to print something called gs.info, my name is Rohit. So this is might be one of these call that one record that I want to print. So I'll say that my name is Rohit, it will be print. Now, if I want to run this 5 times, what I have to do? I have to write the 5 more times, one by one, right? So I have to run this 5 times and then it will be executed 5 times. Now let's say that a big computation or for big calculation, we are running 4 times or 5 times, and we need to write the code again and again, right? For that reason, we can run a loop. Through the loop, we can we don't need to write something. We can define that how many times it should run, and based on that it can execute. So if you see that the loops definition can say that loops can execute a block of code number of times. So if you say this is might be the code and I need to run this code 5 times, so I just define that 5, the code will be executed for the 5 times. I don't need to do anything on that. Okay, for that the common method, very common method, is the for loop. So let's see. So we have for looping purpose, we have a many type of loop. One is the for loop, another is the for in loop, for of loop, while loop, do while loop. So what is used for each and every loop and how we can use that? For loop is used for the number of times. So let's say that I want to run 5 times. For that we use the for loop. So let's understand the for loop first. When you write the for loop we have a 3 expression. Very first thing is that when you write that for loop, very first expression or very first thing is that we say the for and then we start that bracket. So this is the for loop starting. Inside the for loop we have a 3 expression: first expression, second expression, and then third expression. So first expression is used for initialize the block. So let's understand very simply. So we say that for in the first block or the first, we have a 3 expression. How do we determine that? The 3 expression is like that, and then here it will come the first expression, after the second expression, and here we have to put the third expression. And in this after this expression we started the parenthesis, and then whatever code is needs to be executed, we put this all this code, and after that we end the parenthesis. This is the syntax of the for loop. We started writing the for. Here we have 3 expression: first, second, and third. After that we put the parenthesis, and inside the parenthesis we can put any line number of code. So let's say we can put the 1,000 line of code inside that. There is no issues on that. So we can say that where num equal to 1, and then after that we can say that num equal to num plus 1, something like that. And then here we can put this num record, something like that. Whatever is, if you want to put anything, you can put define or define here, so inside this braces. Now what these 3 expression, that is very important here. The first expression is used for the initialize any variable. So if you see here, the expression is execute 1 time before the execution of the code block. It's optional parameter. So whenever your for loop will be run, the first expression, whatever you will be defined, that expression will be run for 1 time. So let's say normally what we say that where I equal to 0. So that's the normally we do. So this code, the where I equal to 0 will be run for the one time. The second expression, what it is saying that expression 2 is define the condition for execution the block. It's also optional, but you must use break in that case. So this expression is a conditional block for which condition this break should be end. So we say that I less than 5. So until unless I is the 5, this for loop will be run. So this block is a conditional block here, and then this here you need to put the which condition this loop should be ended. So first expression is that where you initialize the variable, and in the second case here it's conditional block. The expression is the conditional block where you define that for which condition this break will be ended. And third condition is the third expression is execute every time after code block has been executed. So so this third execution is the something that will be run each and every time, and we define that after this code executed, this block will be executed. So what does it mean by that? So let's understand one more time. The very first thing I am defining that I equal to 0, and it will be this loop will be run the 5 time until unless I value is less than 5. And after this execution of this first block, the I value will be incremented. It means that whenever the first time it will came to in our queue, the first for loop will be run, the I will be 0, and then I value is less than 5 years. Then I, after printing this name, I value will become 0 to 1. So this way it will be run. So let's say if I run this one, you can see these things are right now printing. So 5 times this loop run, and each time this after 5 times this the block or this code execution is ended. Why? Because we define that I must be stopped at that end of the 5. Now what we can do here, instead of 5, this is the variable, what we can define that we can define that where max count max, and here we can define the 5, so that instead of hard coded here you can define the fact max. So what will be happen, it means that I start will be started with the 0, maximum time it will be run with the 5 time, and each time I will be incremented. Now if we run that, the print or the value will be remain same, 1 2 3 4 5 5 time it's printed. Now if you want to increase this loop count, or if you want to run more time, you can define here 5 to 7 5 in so that it will be run 7 times. If I run execute, the code will be run into the 7 time. So this way you can see this for loop will be run. In this for loop, first variable or the first expression is optional, and this parameter is optional. So it means that this expression will be run one time. This is the conditional block where you can define the which condition this block will be ended, and this third expression will be run each and every time once our block will be ended. So I value will be incremented each and every time. So let's see what is the value or I value we are getting. I will say I value, and here I will print the I value here, and let's run that. So very first thing, I will be 0, and it will be keep increasing, and it will be keep increasing till the 6. So if I run that, you can see I value is 0. Then after a loop, this I value incremented, it's 1. After this loop, the I value incremented is 2. So this way the I value is keep increasing. Now what we have mentioned that expression 1 are executed one time before the execution of the code of block. It's a optional parameter. So what does it mean by that? It's a optional parameter. You can declare here, or else you can define here also. So we can define here in the top, and you don't need to even, it's an optional parameter. So if I put the optional parameter and run here, that exactly the way it is working previously, the same way it will be working, but the I value has to be, or this variable value has to be defined in this top somewhere. So this is the optional, either you put on the top or you put here, both the way it will be remain same. The second expression, this is also a optional. So you can this is the conditional block. So if this is also a optional, if you don't want to put this value here, you have to must use the break. So that is the complex scenario. I'm not going to that details, but basically for loop is used in this way. So we normally put the for loop like this. We have a three expression. First expression is I, where we are define the 0. So and here we can put the conditional, and here we are putting the incremental value. Now let's say if your for loop is running, and in between if you want to break the for loop, you can use the break statement. So if I run here, you can see it is running that 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so 5 times. But after 3, if you want to break, you can also define that. So if I equal to 3, something like that, we can also write the break statement. So if we put the break statement, the code or the loop will be break and go back to the previous state. So if I say here, now you can see 0, 1, 2, 3. After 3, once the I value reaches the 3, the code is executed this part, that I equal to 3, and then this one is completely break. So it is break after 3. So that's all about today for the for loop. We'll talk further in our next session. Thank you very much. Have a great day.